Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome to NFT Live Web3 Network. How are you doing? Welcome to the new world, $2 trillion market cap we just passed this morning. Excited to be just blasting off into outer space. We'll see where we go. Quick note, it is me and Gifted up here, the OGs. We do have, I believe, Biggie Poppins joining us, and we're waiting on Huda as well. But Biggie Poppins will be joining us later in the episode. But until then, GIF. I know you're also GIF is like sick, so we're all over the place today, and we're gonna power through this like professionals.
It's a weird day. Yeah, it's like lots of great things happening out there in the market, tons of positive energy and vibes because number go up, but also Robotos calling it quits and quick exchange getting hacked. And yes, fighting a little bit of a sinus infection, but I'm still here. I'm happy to be here, and it's a good day to be a DGen. When you see all that green, it's a Valentine's Day run we got going on.
Oh, that's what we're getting it down to. Jawa, nice to see you in the house. Christian Jensen, GM. If you're joining us on YouTube, we just pressed live. If you're over on X, we see you right now. I'm looking directly into your soul. No, I'm just kidding. But happy to be here with you on another episode of NFT Live. It is Hump Day, so Wednesday the 14th, 2024. Excited to be just in the industry, man. It feels like we've kind of taken off the shackles of the last kind of little bit of this bull bear situation. I mean, this might be the biggest bear or bull trap of all time, but also it does feel like we're sitting in a pretty nice spot when it comes to maybe inning one of this bull market. So, are you getting those vibes, GIF?
Well, the vibes that I'm getting from Gary Gensler is absolute cope fest. Just absolute cope fest. Because my man cannot keep Bitcoin's name out of his mouth. He just keeps going on
the deciding vote, by the way,
or whatever shows, continuously trying to FUD and talk shit about Bitcoin. Nobody's listening. Even the co-hosts, these old men sitting next to him on these traditional finance TV shows, are pushing back like you don't even know what you're saying, my guy. Like, they're literally telling him in real time, like trying to correct him. It's like, you don't even get the technology. And that's all I keep seeing. It's just cope. And he's just showing more and more that he's been, the people that are in charge of regulating this shit in our government are fucking old and don't even understand the technology that they're in charge of regulating. That's all he's doing. He's just betraying himself and his own ignorance and stupidity every time he opens his mouth. So the sense that I'm getting is that Bitcoin was the obvious call of them all. For the last couple of years, if you've been like still believing that this wasn't a thing, or it was all going to go to zero, or whatever other fucking FUD or nonsense people have been trying to say about it, like, especially since you knew that the ETFs were coming, Rock was getting on board, that Larry Fink. Yeah,
shout out to Hisako, by the way. Simply sit quietly in a room and watch the numbers go up without over clicking the buttons. We brought this one up on the show. What was the artist behind this one, Gift, who's doing it for Wrecked Guy?
Is this him? Bold Leonidas?
This is one of Bold Leonidas's. Hisaka's just taking that one and adding his little wolf on it. But yes, it was the play the whole time. I can sit here and tell you it was the play when ETH was at $50. Should have been buying ETH. Shouldn't have been fucking aping into CryptoKitties and seeing where that gets me. So yeah, anyways, continue on that. I was honestly, dude, like, I think if I talk while we switch screens and we have that mic issue, it kind of solves it. But I'm trying to get through that. So yeah, man, Bitcoin's it hit 52, I believe. Right now it's sitting around 5150. Ethereum's at 2,700. This is without.
I haven't seen these numbers. We haven't seen this altitude in a while. It's been a minute. We've been here still doing the shows. We've still been doing it. Oh man, but it feels good.
I'm gonna bring up the Ethereum chart really quick. This is on a max time frame. So Gift just said we haven't seen these numbers in a minute. The last time we were 2,700. Looks like the middle of 2022. So basically the other side. If you're thinking in NFT time frames, it's basically the other side is the last time. We've been literally ranging for almost 2 years, which, you know, based on the time frame, like, look, here's the ICO cycle, by the way. That's fucking hilarious to look at in hindsight, because when you're in it, it seems like such a big thing. But like when you look at this chart, like if I look back at Bitcoin, for example, let's even do that. Let's max look at Bitcoin. There were so many cycles in here. Like, I'm sure this little thing right over here, this little hump probably felt like something.
Yeah. Well, and I think is it Raul Pal? I think he calls it the exponential age. That's what it is. Like this is exponential growth because it's driven by network effects. It's driven by technological adoption. Like there's macro trends underpinning these specific tokens and currencies. That is what it is, man. That's why, and the crazy speculations of like 100K, 500K, Kathy Wood saying Bitcoin is going to get to $1 million a coin. These ridiculous fucking numbers. That's where they come from. Is the people that are deconstructing and analyzing what are all these different trends, macro trends, micro trends, and factors that are going to drive this adoption over the next 5 to 10 years. And this, like, it is still early, but we are on the cusp now with all this institutional money of like getting out of that early phase. Cause you know, the adoption curve, right? It's like, we are now like maybe here.
So that's one thing that feels different than if we're talking about feeling different. Yes, we're adding that meme in here. If it feels like the retail is not here yet, like
it's crazy.
It feels like
it's wild.
Yeah, it feels like again, like I think institutions might have started the last cycle and then retail followed it, and we might see the same thing again because it definitely doesn't feel like that frothiness of people asking you to buy Bitcoin all the time. So, yeah.
Dude,
Marty's trying to set us up here, man.
Marty's on one, trying to like just get us into some kind of shit. I don't know why he wants us canceled. Don't worry, Marty, we'll cancel ourselves in good time.
I promise you that we will.
It's gonna happen. I've already been canceled, I think, twice that I can remember. But where were we? I just got derailed by that. I'm just like, Jesus Christ,
well, he
man.
accomplished his mission. So Ethereum is sitting at 2,700 here. Again, like the idea here is that there's going to be some rotations. Ethereum NFTs we were covering yesterday are coming back a little bit. Doodles is coming back. We definitely have Moonbirds on the rise. Obviously, Pudgy Penguins is going to be like, the blue chip, but damn.
Well, and that's one of the biggest bummers about like the Robotos news is because it's like, it seems like, man, this is the time that you could be doubling down and doing just a little bit and it goes way further. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To show that you're an OG project that stuck it out now and like prove that you're just alive and kicking, that you still care. You know, like I don't think it would take that much right now. And that's not to discredit how hard that the, you know, Pablo Stanley and the Bueno team and the Robotos that they worked. Because I know that they did a lot more than most teams. Like they were actual builders. They shipped a lot of stuff, and you know, I think they got worn down by the space. So I'm not trying to discredit that experience being tough, but I just feel like now it's a tough time to be bowing out now after you've survived the last, you know, year and a half.
Sometimes that's a bottom signal. You know, it sucks to say, but I've seen a ton of people leave at the very bleakest. And I wouldn't call today bleak when we're hitting all-time highs on some altcoins and some other things, but like at the very last part of the bear cycle, I see people leaving sometimes. I do, because it's been that long. They've been dealing with a lot of shit. Not everything is pumping. Again, Robotos was in that first cycle. Like projects, like that
one hurts me. Yeah, that one hurts me, man. I was a long time believer. Yeah.
Let's add some context there, but before we do, guys, we do have Biggie Poppins hopping in. Oh, Arsenal just asked, where is our friend Biggie Poppins? Guys, Huda, what about Huda? You got to be asking about Huda in chat. But I believe we are getting Biggie Poppins. He is at a Naked Dob meeting. So there's a meeting of the minds and the Naked Dobs. They got some things cooking over there on their kind of relationship with the Dob community, all that stuff. It's really cool. So we're going to give him some time. He is going to hop in here in just a moment. I don't know about Huda. I maybe had some touching grass, touching some alfalfa things that he's got to deal with in his life. So definitely, we'll see if he comes in here in a second. Gifted is here with me. We're about to blast off on this episode. Let's do the disclaimer and then let's hop in. I mean, it sucks, but let's get it out of the way. The Roboto stuff.
Yeah, for sure. It's important. And, you know, I don't think we've even said it yet, but happy Valentine's Day to you and your significant others, your side pieces, whatever you've got. I hope you celebrate whatever way makes sense to you. But also, while you're celebrating, while you're getting lucky and doing weird things, bumping all types, know that while you're doing all that today, to also remember that this is not financial advice. That's the point that we're trying to get to. We're not financial advisors. Do your own research. I know it gets old and annoying that we say it all the time, but it's important for your safety and ours to always remind everybody this is not financial advice. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to bring this up. Let's tear off the Band-Aid here. Robotos posting last night. There's also a lot of, I would say, more information. Let me just put it there. That accompanying this, there were screenshots from the Discord. This was basically a conversation happening in Discord that frothed over into basically Pablo and the team saying it was a good run. Thank you all, with the screenshot of the log out of Robotos, which is a Chad move, by the way. Which is a Chad move. But there was a bunch of kind of back and forth, people complaining. I hate this part of the space, but you know what? I'm going to stop it there as well, because you got to take the good with the bad here in this industry. I don't want to be too overly critical of the negative things that happen in this space, because it just is life. You deal with this shit. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, but it looks like the negative or the dark part of the industry has been weighing heavily on that team and Pablo, and they said deuces.
Yeah, so there's a lot of parts to this. Again, of course, it's not black and white. It's never that simple. It's nuanced with something like this. And I know Pablo has also been dealing with some pretty serious health issues. And I'm sure that's weighing in this decision, where he's just like, yo, I've literally been in the hospital, like dealing with like life-threatening illnesses lately. And this is just causing too much fucking stress. Like, y'all are just stressing me. This was meant to be, you know, a fun side project, you know, see where it goes, have fun with it, you know. And like, I don't want to call that a cop out, because I feel like they really went into it, because they went with like Bueno.art to try and launch a platform. So, you know, like I do feel like there's an element of a cop out on that part of it, because I felt like it was more than just a side project. I felt like they tried to legitimately establish businesses and actually do a lot better job than most NFT projects of trying to go after a sustainable business model with creating legitimate creator tools, like a whole generative art pipeline and smart contract platform with Bueno.art, all that type of shit. So yeah, I don't know if just calling it a side project is really doing it justice here. But again, this is kind of how he's feeling right now and how he's trying to position it.
One of the most overused terms in the space that actually has a negative effect. Like, people say, you know, GM and WAGME and all this stuff, and it's overused cliches 100% for the most part. One of the most overused cliches in the entire space that actually has a negative effect on people building here is rug. Like, this is not Pablo fucking rugging the project. I'm sorry. He's been building for this long. Should he sell it? That he said something about like legal or something being the problem. I'll try to bring that screenshot up. But the most overused term in the whole entire fucking space is a rug. This is as if somebody opened up a fucking business down the street from me, selling a product and having to close up shop, and me being like, you fucking rugged that shop.
After dedicating their lives to it for like 2.5 years.
Yes.
Like, dude, this is his life too. You know, like, come on. Like, I'm aligned with what you're getting at, right? It's like, this is not a rug. I'm not calling it a rug. It hurts my soul, because I've been such a supporter of them from early on to see that, them basically say it's not worth it when pack up and want to exit, and not also find a way to sort of hand it off or do something else. That sucks, because it does seem, to your point, like he's not entertaining a sale or anything. Like for right now, he's just kind of like putting it down. We're done. That's it. We tried. That's it. And so part of that is, again, the additional context is, they were working on developing content, like a show with time, time pieces, their sort of Web3 component of Time Magazine. And I guess when the writer's strike and then the bear market and all this stuff, the confluence of negative events hit, a lot of these plans have all kind of gotten shelved or pushed back or indefinitely, hurt. And yeah, so he doesn't want to deal with the hassle of trying to figure out how you would even package it up and sell it. And maybe some of that's legit. I know the legal stuff is a headache. I don't know how involved that would be. Like, is Time wrapped up in this? Is it encumbered by other participants that now like have certain understandings or promises or expectations? And so that's why this becomes like a multi-party affair where you're trying to litigate around. Yeah, I don't know, man. You're muted.
That is a question around like, why can't a sale take place? I think if the community genuinely wants to see it go forward, I think that's something that has been proven out that somebody can do. I don't know if it's because there's ownership issues of Robotos, where maybe Pablo doesn't have full control or can't make that decision. I don't know. I will say, without having all of the details, it's tough to continuously talk on this. But again, I'm reading his quotes, right? Like, sorry if the message got lost. Here it is. Robotos is a personal side project. That's what you're mentioning. I think maybe from the entire post, and there's a full ass thread, that's probably the main thing that comes off negative. That comes off like, that's not the right optics. That's not
it's downplaying the whole space. It's downplaying your involvement in the space. It's downplaying the effort.
Let's talk about this, because there's a whole portion that he's saying not believing in space. I'm glad you still believe. It's hard for me to believe it anymore, but hey, some people are still doing cool stuff. Look at them apes, right? And punks seem to be a solid community. Wish I had a punk. Feels a little disconnected if he's talking about apes and punks, but maybe those are the communities that he's looking at. He's saying he can't sell because there would be a huge legal problem. And also in the post, he's saying, again, getting back to this fact that it's not a rug, like he's saying he has 2 months left to pay his staff. It's like, well, like, again, this goes back to like the business model and all this stuff that gets lost in the hype of whatever that bull market looks like. Is if there's no sustainable business model and not many people get there, not many people projects get there. A lot of people try.
Yeah, these are startups, man. It's most of them fail. That is what it is.
Yeah, so Ja was saying, why does a sale even need to happen? Let's get a community marketplace and send royalties to a DAO wallet. We don't need anyone's permission. It's fair. I mean, you as long as there's no like 10% of the supplies with the Robotos team, like maybe they could burn. Like, there's all these little details they could.
Here's the difficult truth of this too, and why it's gonna be, I think, a challenge, is that Pablo's not a businessman, marketer, startup guy. Pablo's an artist. You know what I mean? Like he somehow got pushed into this role of like, I'm now launching a platform. I'm in charge of like basically I'm a tech founder now. And I saw him out at conferences trying to kind of fill and figure out this role. He was working with our good friend.
Betty going through some of this too with Deadfellas?
I think a lot of people are. Yeah, I think that's a great point. I don't think it's just Pablo, but Pablo is sort of he's a stubborn artist, and shout out to him too. Like, by the way, if you go search on this very channel, you'll find OG interviews with him. He was coming on the network. I don't remember if it was NFT Live or Artstar Now, or both, but like I know he was He was on this network with us. Like, he was in the community. He was really giving it everything that he has, but he's not a tech founder. And I think he kind of acknowledges that too. And at a certain point, he again, it's like the people that can start something are not necessarily the same people that can grow it to that next level.
Yeah.
We've seen that struggle with Yuga in a different way. They maybe pushed too far in one direction trying to scale, and that created a disconnect. It doesn't seem like he figured out how to either like offload certain things or just focus on the art. And it seems like what he's saying is like, dude, I just want to go back to being a fucking artist.
Okay, so yes, I agree with that, but I want to bring in Arsenal's question here too. Was Recur a rug or an unsustainable business model? And what I'll say here is a lot of this has to do with the liquidity that makes businesses function. Money. I don't know Robotos' situation. I'm pretty sure they did okay in the mint. That was 2.5 years ago, or 2 years ago, something like that. I don't know what the business model looked like. Again, royalties going to zero. That could be a play. Somebody was saying that. Squash is also saying probably too, because he's the actual artist, so it's hard to pass off the project. I agree with that. It would be hard to continue that even storytelling without the actual artist. But, dude, if there's no money fucking coming in, I don't care how good your art looks.
Yeah.
I don't.
And then it's the negative attention on top of that eventually just makes you say like, look, I'm literally losing money, not making anything, and everybody's just shitting on me constantly. Fuck this, I'm out. And that's what he's doing. He's basically sort of like flipping the table and just saying like, I don't need this in my life. And yeah, it sucks. Look, Recur took down like $75 million and then delivered nothing.
Okay, I don't know. Again, without looking at the business sheet and the business model and what the fucking cash flows were to expenses and all this stuff, you can't make that honest decision. But it's hard for me to believe that they raised 75 mil and went through all of that in a year's time. Like, how long were they around before they completely rugged?
They didn't do shit, and there's no attempted delivery of anything. They took down a bunch of money through raising capital and launching NFTs, and then did nothing with it, and then disappeared in like a year.
I forgot the Gordon quote. I always do. Like, it's one of the best quotes in Web3. But he was talking to Tropo, and he was saying, "Well, Tropo, if it was so easy, why don't you do it?" And that is such a fucking thing for this space to understand. It's because we're on X, and again, it pays to be like fucking crazy and say the craziest things and shit talk the founders and shit talk people that fucking fail. But not everybody figures this out for a variety of reasons.
The thing that makes me maybe the most frustrated is the amount of armchair fudders who have never actually even really put themselves behind trying to build and launch a product in Web3 specifically. So look, I'm not going to call out any names. There's a lot of them out there that I could, but there's a lot of people out there that are constantly talking shit, and they've never even really committed themselves to trying to make something this difficult work. And so you don't have the context. Like, you don't actually know what these people are going through or how difficult it is. And you know, I at least have, you know, that's one thing that I can say for myself is that, you know, failure and success, whatever it is, you know, you can find plenty of failures. And I've also done crazy things that I'm very proud of, but at least I've like put myself out there. I've tried shit. I've been literally like really trying to figure out how to create community engagement, products, brands. Like, I've been really fucking trying this shit. So when I try and criticize somebody, I'm not just trying to erroneously FUD them to death. Like, I'm trying to understand what they're coming from, what they've been through, what are they trying to achieve, the difficulties. Like, at least I have some understanding of what it's like to be in that hot seat, and to get people coming in your fucking Discord, to come in your chat, to come in your DMs, come in your fucking comments and tell you how everything that you're fucking doing is worthless and wrong and you're a piece of shit.
Yeah. And the designation is between something like Recur and what happened with Robotos. Again, maybe Robotos figured out a way to make millions of dollars. Like, and I don't know how much they made in their mint. I would love to get that data. That would actually be great data to input in this conversation. But something that's raising 75 mil and going away a year or two later is a lot different than a smaller raise, not figuring out a business model, having royalties go away,
and
so
trying
your cash
and actually shipping products that artists used. Dude, like people have been using Bueno.art. Like creators have been using that tool. They actually created value. They shipped product.
Yeah. Meta guy saying 95% of startups fail. Why do we hold NFT degens up to more scrutiny than everyone else? These things will fail. So what? It's incredibly hard. The other part of this, and I guess it plays into regular business, but I think even more so in a business like ours, it's so cyclical and timing is so important. We had a fucking great business model at ICO Alert. I came into the industry through working business development at ICO Alert. I'm telling you, man, we were fucking raking in the cash at ICO Alert. I was the first employee. We were killing it. We hired fucking 14 people. We were like February of 2018, we brought in $1 million in cash flow. December of that same year, we brought in $10,000. That's how quick shit changes in this industry. And yet we still have the armchair quarterbacks that Gifted's talking about trying to throw fucking shade. So yes, if we had raised fucking 70 mil, hopefully we would have pivoted and tried to figure out some different things. That I want to make a distinction on. There's NFT startups that are going to fail, and there's ones with cash flow that are fucking rugs.
By the way, I was not really there for the ICO craze, which is why it's always fun to hear, your experience with that. I did just go watch BitCon over the weekend. I watched BitCon. So that gave me like another additional window of like, exactly what was going on, the boiler room, the scams that were being fucking run. If y'all haven't watched that, it's a pretty solid documentary. Although the one thing that I find troubling about it is the lead character is like a proud criminal and basically gets let off. And he's basically being totally like glorified as like a star of the fucking movie. Yeah. It's just like, okay, what's the message here? What is the message here?
It's that Robin Hood complex that we have in this industry for sure. Here's the thing. I will say, me and Gifted are actively trying to figure out ways to do what we're doing here and have it be sustainable. We're trying our fucking hardest, man. Like, but again, all of these things, it's business. There's so many different things. Timing, the team you have around you. What are you guys doing? How much money can you raise? All of these different things play into it. So I will just say, and I'll end the discussion here. Like, we are fucking trying to make this work, to have a sustainable business model so that we can continue and try to figure out ways to bring that value back. If there's nothing coming in this way, I don't have any other than just like me literally just going out and being homeless on the street.
Yeah.
Like I just can't. I'm trying. We're trying. I'll just say that.
Just wait. I'm going to make some big bold predictions here real quick before we move on. So just wait, Q and I have literally dedicated our fucking lives to this space and trying to be good actors, whatever that means to us, trying to be, valuable participants and honest and trustworthy and have fun and all these things. We've literally bled to be here, like you said, and we're trying to figure it out. Just wait to see the things that we're working on as we try and scale this things that we're doing, and see how many fudders who have no idea who we are, how much effort we put into this, what our history in the space is.
That's happening.
Just wait and see the people that come in and start fudding us and talking shit about us just because we are actually trying to build something that we believe in. I'm just making that prediction now. Just wait and see the people that fucking come for us who have no idea who we are or what we do.
Yeah, DP is actually getting behind this in digging into the deep information, because this is really very key as to why this happens in our industry. The reason it happens is because the startup funds are coming from the general public. This is why there are accredited investors. Regular people do not approach investments the same. I could not agree with that more. The people that I deal with and rub elbows with on the seed side understand that most of them are going to be fucking shit. That most of it is not going to work. And I'll say anecdotally, I've invested in Flow. I hopefully say become something. We'll see. The cycles, you never know. Most of them are shit. Most of what I threw my money into are fucking failed projects that will never get off the ground. But the difference is, and Dayton, I appreciate you bringing that up, is that it's known by accredited investors that that's the way it's going to happen. The general public cares much because it's probably more percentage of their portfolio at this point. But that is such a great point because there is no whining, complaining, unless there's some shadiness. Like I'm sure there was some shadiness around Recur where people were like, what the fuck's going on? I remember Aurora token. They were like not releasing the tokens to invest. Like those situations, accredited investors will start to raise an eyebrow. But if it's just like this didn't work, then it didn't fucking work.
Dude, if you just take off with the money and don't even like there's no proof of what you tried to do with it, you don't try and issue any refunds. Dude, there was people they offered passes that were supposed to give a bunch of utility and mints and different things. People were paying thousands of dollars for these Recur passes and they just fucking disappeared on that on top of a bunch of other shit. So it's like that's a whole different thing from what Robotos is. We can put a pin in that one. Yeah. Shout out DP coming in with some great points, and also Knox saying, "I think you guys are what is good in the space. I've learned to completely trust your not financial advice." All right, be careful with that one. But yeah, look, the truth of that is that at least we are not here to try and mislead anybody, and we're always going to give you our honest takes.
And like, are we great businessmen? Like, not necessarily. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at my track record on fucking the businesses that I've tried to create, not necessarily. I mean, there's definitely like other benefits that we're trying to figure out. But as far as cash flow and all this, no.
We're very transparent with figuring it out together, and we're never going to be just scamming.
That's building in the open.
Yeah, and we're never just going to be like trying to hype you into some bullshit that we don't believe in or some crap, right? Like we're always going to give our honest takes on stuff, and I think that's at least one of the things that we do better than most people. So I appreciate you for saying that.
And all of y'all for hanging out with us. I'm an accredited investor. Let me tell you, accredited investors get pissed off at VCs too, and will even threaten litigation. 100%. If they do something incorrectly, then yes. But if the project just doesn't hit, the founder goes up the wrong route, the fucking cycle goes another way, they're not threatening litigation. I promise you. Like that Aurora situation, VC 100%. Investors were like, what the fuck is going on? You're holding my tokens back, all that stuff. But if it's just a shit product where it's like, damn, it's been 2 years, they don't have any users, there goes my 5K. There goes my 10K that I wrote into the check. That's the risk that you take. The difference is the fucking public, it takes it a different way. All right, we're going to get on to this next topic, but yeah, Robotos, maybe they become Grails. Maybe they become Grails, Gift. They're like one.
Well, I was gonna say, you know what? Last note on that. I offloaded the rest of my Robotos last night, and it sucked. But I held my one super rare. I have I think it's like rarity number 60 or something like that. I have one of the rarest Robotos. It's in my cold storage. Who knows? Maybe it'll age well in a decade or two. It'll be something.
Yeah, we'll hold on to it.
Yeah,
it's the Robotos we made along the way. All right, I need to get to the bottom of this Starknet airdrop, man. This was like the biggest rug I've seen on and I used rug. There you go. Look, I gotta blame my fucking self. Like fucking yeah, I know it's going to zero. Starknet airdrop made its way across your timeline, I'm sure. A bunch of OGs, like if you were in the last cycle, apparently early ETH adopters were getting this Starknet airdrop. I need to get to the bottom of this. I haven't been able to see if I'm actually like getting anything, because if you went to this certain website, you typed in early adopter, your address. Some of people did, and some people did. I got my claim, but apparently it's a rug. I use it again. Jesus Christ.
I didn't understand what was going on with this. I went to that website and I couldn't it was confusing. I don't know if you want to pull it up and actually show it, because you don't have to connect your wallet, right?
No, it's just reading your address.
If you want to pull it up and just show like how it works, you know, maybe people will understand what you're saying. Because I've got some old wallets that have been in the space for years doing a bunch of activity that it didn't seem like it was anything was there for me. So maybe I'm just not understanding.
I'll try to bring it up. Give me a second, but I'll try to bring
Shout
it up.
out Kerry Ross. We appreciate you. Super Arsenal just hating on the Bottos, on my lone last Botto, telling me to just get rid of it. Ouch, it hurts. Quantum Variant saying Starknet Airdrop doesn't happen until the 20th.
So okay, so here's the website. You come in, you go to ETH, early ETH adopter. Where are you? Does it not even exist anymore?
Oh, maybe this is what I didn't do. I didn't do this step.
Okay, there was an early ETH adopter tag here. I'm not seeing it anymore.
MetaMask? Is it just MetaMask?
Maybe disabled for maintenance, something like that. Anyways, you came in there, put the address, it read the address, it told you on, and it had some like numbers, like some like array of numbers, right? Like 24/7 or 4/2, something like that. Didn't really tell you what that was for. But now people are saying that it's not legit, and now I'm not even seeing the option anymore for early ETH adopter. So people were thinking they were going to get a fat airdrop, and that's always you're barking up the wrong tree. If you're looking for like a fucking 6-figure airdrop about something you heard about yesterday, it's probably not happening.
Yeah. No, look, can we just say this real quick? Because it's been a hot and heavy airdrop farming season the last couple months. It's been a crazy, everybody getting super excited about points all over the place, left and right. But let's be honest with this one. I'm sorry if this is, pissing in your cereal. The majority of these points are never going to turn into any sort of monetary value or an actual even crypto. The majority of these points that everybody's getting you to farm are only ever just going to be points. And then on top of that, a lot of the ones that do actually turn into a crypto are going to be worth a couple dollars, like maybe 50 cents or $10. So I'm trying to put on my I'm trying to look at this honestly, because we all get caught up in the FOMO whenever there's like a big airdrop. And yes, there's going to be legit airdrops. I'm not saying there won't be some that are really fucking awesome, but most of these ain't worth shit. And you're just spending a bunch of time engagement farming on these people's platforms.
That's fair. But again, it's the time spent and maybe 1 or 2 or 3 of them hit. It goes back to, again, that
it's hard to know which ones. Yeah, it's hard to know which ones.
You got to put in the time. At the end of the day, you have to put in a massive amount of time if you want to be the ones, or you have to be tied into a fucking legit alpha group, or try to be in a couple different ones that talk about it. Because you could have been in an alpha group, and then they said, "Hey, you should put your cash into Jito. You should be active on this exchange. You should do a couple swaps. I think this might work." And then you get a fucking 15K Jito airdrop, right? So, but dude, honestly, alpha group maintenance is a fucking lot of work, but you can't half-ass it. You can't half-ass it. That's just my opinion. If you try, it's not going to work. Unless again, you just ape into something that in your alpha group's lit.
Yeah, well, and that's something that we've been working on growing our capabilities in, that we're going to be expanding into a Web3 Discord soon. So,
wink, leave a like, leave a wink. All right, real quick, I'm going back to the market. Just want to quickly look at the top performers in the top 100. You see what's up top. It's not because it's my favorite star right there on the left. It's because it's the SEI network doing the best over the last 24 hours, up 16% here. Let's see the top performers of the last 7 days: Beam, Stacks, SEI, and Immutable X. So yes, but SEI is up there, crossing 87 cents. I believe it. I don't know if it hit 90. We can go in and see what the all-time high was. Yeah, it hit 80, almost 89 cents there for SEI. So we've been all over the SEI NFT stuff, the DeFi stuff. We have SEI What in the Morning now that we host on Spaces, and it's just good to see that the ecosystem token is doing so well. And I will say that is a touch point GIF that Base doesn't have yet. I don't know what happens here. Honestly, Toshi hasn't been the mover over there in that ecosystem right now. It's been Mochi. It's been Base God. It's been a couple of these other ones. And
Wait, what's the thing that you're saying Base doesn't have though yet?
A touch point like a SEI token, right? To be like, this is the
They don't have their own
ecosystem token.
native, their own native token.
Yeah.
Yeah, which again, that might be the opportunity for Toshi and Mochi, right? We've already talked about that. It's like as liquidity moves over there, people are gonna want to park it in different coins where they might get, some exposure to what's happening. And those are two of the bigger meme coin plays on Base. Again, they're named after the pets of Brian Armstrong, which is you can never fail. You can never fail with that strategy, going after the blockchain founder's pet meme coin. But yeah, there's been something intuitively in me that says that it only makes sense that when the time is right, they do launch a token for it. Maybe they never will. I could be totally wrong. I just feel like they're playing nice because they're very involved in the politics right now, and a lot of eyes are on them with all the ETFs and the SEC, all this different stuff, and they're trying to enact meaningful change and position Coinbase as the fucking hub for like all crypto in the West, basically. Which, like, if you're not bullish on Coinbase and Base, like, again, I don't understand why you're not at this point. So while they're playing this game and it's like very sort of volatile almost in that way, like, it's very sensitive politically, I don't think they launch a token. So there's a lot of reasons why they don't right now. But I just feel like eventually
I could see it. I don't think they want to deal with that touch point for regulators. I don't think they want to deal with like regulators being able to say, look at this. I think they want it to be like a little bit hands off.
But once there's some clearer regulation and they figure out the way to do it, then maybe. But yeah, for now, it's not happening.
Quantum Variant saying Starknet Airdrop doesn't happen until the 20th. So we'll see. Again, I don't know if it's a complete kind of fake out, I'll call it, on the airdrop, but a lot of people were posting that. Casmanac saying they got rid of the early ETH adopter. Folk saying I missed the 10K airdrops and coins lasting more than a day. Marty saying more respect for Pablo than Tim Ferriss. That honestly, I'm comfortable, even though he plastered it, right? He plastered it all over that collection, so you can't therefore say I'm upset at you because he, again, plastered it there. You were taking the risk that it's Tim Ferriss, it's a potential NFT collection, all this stuff. That one definitely, I would just agree with Marty saying, yes, Pablo was a different beast than Tim when it comes to, saying bye. I will always say what? If you guys say what? So yeah, I'll say that there. Nice to see you, Wolf K, and then I'll get to Carrie's comment here in a second. This is DeFi Llama. So we're seeing a little, you can see the TVL chart here. That's a nice little uptick in TVL, probably having to do with ETH's performance and a lot of these others. You can see here Eigenlayer going up the charts here. The number 5th now DeFi protocol in TVL at 6.8 billion. Lido up there with $26 billion. Their Rocket Pool as well. These are all kind of some staking pools, some dexes. You can see Uniswap has 4.6 billion. So just want to give you a look. And then, the reason I bring it up is because I want to come over here and look at the chains, right? We've got some chains as well and some percentage changes in TVL on those platforms, right? So 7-day change here for Solana is up 20% on its TVL. Where is Base in here? Do we have Base?
It's right there. You passed it.
I passed it.
It was around 18, 13.
So 424 million total TVL. That's not up actually in the 1 month time frame. That's actually down there. Manta looks like it's up 27% to 524. Swee's been talked about. I don't know how Optimism is judged because it's the tech stack for most of these. Not most, but some. Arbitrum sitting at 2.9 billion, up 13%. So I'm just giving you a look at these other altcoins and where they're sitting TVL wise.
Can we? I wanted to bring back up something that we talked about, I think yesterday. That was like a campaign that Coinbase is doing with Base right now, and that's that penny thing. Like, I don't remember exactly what it's called. But this is just an example of how they are getting a lot better at communicating their different products out to their incredibly large platform and base of users. And so again, it's like, understand that Base, when we say it's liquidity adjacent,
Yeah.
what it means is that like they've got 120 million, I don't know how, it's over 100 million users on the Coinbase app, and that's only going to go up. They have tons of fucking followers and people who are aware of them, and they have this at their disposal, and they're figuring out how to integrate it when they're promoting their L2 and their different products. Nobody has this.
Yeah, this is a candle. I think. Let me see if I can go back. I know I don't want to go like too much into the charts here. I'm trying to figure out which day specifically they listed on. I think it's the 24th. But if I go here, this is Aerodrome Finance. This is the Uniswap, the major DEX right now on Base. Here's the performance since being listed on Coinbase. You saw the listing here, but that again, that's the liquidity adjacent piece that Gift's talking about. They have literal access to Coinbase's listing services. That's basically as clear as day as I can list it.
So the point of that too is that they have it's a hub for tremendous value that they can add in all these different partnership opportunities, similar to what Solana's doing with their hardware now. Is that like people are buying these phones because they're like, oh shit, this is a Solana phone, and they're going to package all different types of valuable partnerships. Coinbase can do this with their L2. They can package Base activations and value in different ways into a million different places.
I agree. It reminds me a little bit of the conversation we were having. Oh God, my mind went blank on this. Damn it. Aerodrome Finance getting listed there is such an easy kind of look at what Coinbase can do for most of their tokens. So yeah, I totally mind lapse on how I was connecting those two. But looking back at DeFi Llama, Blast is another one. Marty, I think we're super bullish on Blast, right? Like I do think that people that are over there right now, and based on, I wouldn't say solely, but you know, when you're making your thesis up, you can't not put Pac-Man and Blur and everything he's done into that combo. And I need to get the updated look, but I think it's going to be number 5 or 6. I think it might be 6. 1.2 billion, I believe, is the last time I checked, but it could be, I could be totally off on those numbers, since the last time we checked was about 2-3 weeks ago. They might have more now, but it's slotting in right behind Solana right now.
So to me, an interesting comp will be Arbitrum, because Arbitrum was a really big launch, and is I think the biggest L2.
Go ahead. I was just saying 1.5 billion.
Arbitrum had definitely some attention and heat around it, but I don't remember it being as interesting to as many people as Blast is. Like, I just think Blast has such a strong narrative because of its team and what they've been able to do. The amount, and you see that in the amount of money that they were able to lock up over $1 billion without even in just a multi-sig, not even a product at all.
This is it might be a simplistic take, it might be a 20 IQ take, but when you have NFTs involved, it takes some. It's that extra thing that can make whatever you're doing fucking liquid nitrogen, like NOS. Dude, Blur was building the biggest NFT marketplace. There's tons of communities, tons of people, just tons of interest. And that's how Pac-Man, that's where he fucking cut his teeth, man. So the fact that Blast has 1.5 billion locked up right now is because because he built a reputation in NFTs. It's not just some random dude coming in from an exchange side or anything like that. The whole NFT space knows about this, and he has both. Honestly, he's playing it well.
Yeah, and they know he's a smart product guy who understands incentives. Quantum Variant saying Blast is a restaking ETH protocol as an L2. So yeah, we're talking about Eigenlayer and digging deeper into what restaking is all about on GM Web3. Again, shout out QV coming through, providing a ton of value.
That QV's caught on. It's my favorite thing.
Salute you, sir. Yeah, let us know if you like QV or Quantum, or if you want us to just call you, you know, JPEG Joe, WJPEG Joe. But yeah, big love to you. So yeah, he says again, Blast is a restaking ETH protocol as a L2. So again, we have EigenLayer and these different solutions now because ETH is not natively like a restaking. You know, it wasn't built to do that. This has native yield built into it in ways that like these other platforms don't have natively. That is actually an innovation. If restaking and, you know, yield is what a lot of people are chasing, which they are. So
we have to make sure to not drink the Kool-Aid here, because what we're doing is we're the hopium. I can feel it enter our lungs right now. I can feel this, and I'm about to play a video that's going to even take this a little bit further. And so the Modern Market Show was talking about Blast and the amount of developers building over there and the incentives that they're getting. So honestly, we talk a lot about the users and investor side and collector side. Behind the scenes, before those users can get there, before all this stuff, you have to do a great job at bringing developers over and building cool shit. So I'll play this real quick and then we'll come back.
If you mint collection, you're going to get allocated a portion of our Blast developer token. So this is like airdrop farming on steroids, because not only are you participating because you're interested in that protocols token, they're actually saying, look, we're going to get this amount of Blast airdrop tokens for being the developers on there, and we're going to give that to you as well. Like, we're going to give you a portion of that as well. So there's just extra layers going on here, and just wanted to bring that.
I don't know how innovative that is. I would assume that other protocols have tried this. They've been like, we're going to give you more of our protocol token for being a dev. That's just my initial take, but Blast could be doing this in a whole other way too. They could be getting it to them in another way.
Well, it just shows what I was already saying, that like they understand incentives better than most people in the space. And if they are finding creative, innovative ways to incentivize developers to be there, then that's already a superpower. Again, I think you might be right. I'm sure others have done similar things, but I think everybody realizes that the way that this is being built is really like targeted towards DeFi and farming and yield and all these different mechanics that can drive tremendous value. And so devs are definitely going to chase that. And that does mean that hopefully some good applications are going to be there. I just wanted to say also, looks like I'm sitting here watching us on Restream, watch some guys on Instagram that are on Restream. And I feel like I'm so far lost in the matrix right now. This is...
I'm excited for these tech. I'm excited for the tech side of what we do, like even the software side, to get a lot better. Like, we didn't get rugged today on Say What in the Morning. That was a huge step forward. Thank you, Elon. Restream often deals with a lot of, like, you guys have seen it on the shows. There's a little bit of lagginess. There's a little bit. I'm really excited to just have a buttery experience on a lot of the software that we use going forward. Like, just from a content creator, it warms my soul. But anyways, guys, NFT Live is going to run for another about, I would say, 10 minutes. We don't have Biggie Poppins or Huda joining us today, but the OGs are kind of holding it down for you on a green day in crypto. We passed that $2 trillion market cap here. I don't know if you can see this on my screen.
Don't forget to smash the like, though. I think most people, like, some of y'all have figured it out by now, but there is a direct correlation to what's happening right now in the market with the number going up and all the likes that y'all have been giving this show. So just understand that when you smash the like on NFT Live, number go up.
I don't even know if I should tell you guys this, but I was complaining about software here. YouTube does weird shit while we're live. So you won't see the right amount of likes. Like, sometimes it'll show you like 8 likes. It won't refresh to what it actually is. But yes, please leave the likes. And then also afterwards, I don't know if you've seen this GIF, we'll jump into the channel afterwards, like try to do the timestamps and everything, which takes more time. You're there and it like starts it at 0. And I think it's because it's like a live show, but it like starts it at 0. I don't know. It's just very weird. I don't know if you guys have seen it on your side. But yes, past the $2 trillion market cap, leave a like for these guys. Leave a like for Biggie Poppins and Huda too, wherever they may be. Wherever they're just doing more important things than being here on NFT Live.
Somebody's saying Huda's buying flowers, so we should pull up Flora.
Yeah.
If you type in the search right there, Floriform, Floraform, I think it should come up.
All right, I'll get that. Yeah, actually, can you drop that in the private chat if possible? I actually didn't. Speaking of restream, I fucking didn't see all these comments coming through. Let's see. Marty's happy that we're talking about Blast. Quantum Variant saying Blast has a lot of opportunity, but it's way more risky. But those degens know how to play the game, and Pac-Man is the top of the game. Just be careful. Very meta. Why is WeBump dying is a great question. I don't think it's dying per se. Marty saying deposit on Blast, earn yield, and lend on Blur, and flip NFTs and Long Beach. Okay. Let's see.
Say's running. Everybody wants to be in Say right now, so there's going to be people taking profits. Also, there's a lot new launch pads coming out to compete with them. So I think a lot of people just saying, did we see the top? They don't know. Will it keep going up? Can it sustain? I think a lot of people are just saying, let me take some profits here.
I think you're right. And the one thing I'll add to this is the mints are getting worse objectively from a return standpoint than when they first launched. Like literally in the beginning, WeBump got you. You could probably pay your WeBump back in like a week's time. Maybe, I mean, on some of them immediately, right? If you held WeBump and you got like a Dobbs drop, or you got not Ants, because I believe Ants came before them, but what's the other one I'm thinking of? Maybe even Saiyans. I don't know. Everything pretty much after WeBump for like that week or two's time, you were getting paid out. That's not happening anymore. It's simply not. It's like free mint that runs to 5 to 10 say. It's just not.
Yeah, the dynamics of the market are shifting, right? I think people are just reallocating.
Yeah. Speaking of reallocating too, I just wanted to briefly show out the DeFi tokens over on the Say side. So we're mentioning the NFTs. We can briefly touch on that. But you can see over the last 7 days, these are some of the top altcoins on Say. Sailor, I've been staking Sailor for a little while here. I'm doing the liquid staking there. Saiyan, it has popped off. It's up 86% on the 7-day. Segma, I think this is recent for Segma because I looked at it this morning. Definitely not. You can see that the actual Say token itself, like we talked about, is up pretty big. And then Cook is probably like that what's the word I'm looking for? I almost said that base god play, because that base god play will haunt me for the rest of my fucking days. Took a 2x, went 100x, and I missed that train. But Cook is probably that moonshot play. It feels like to me like it's at a lower market cap than a lot of these. Like I'll give you an example. Sailor's at 8, Cook's at 1.2, and it's ran 300%. Right?
Not financial advice.
Not financial advice. We are in Slong, so we can't.
I'm not anymore, dude.
Oh, you got out of Slong?
I ditched my meme coins, man, because they just kept going down, and I wanted to get into cappies, and like I lost. I lost money on my meme coin plays on Say so far. I've lost money on almost all of my meme coin plays. Let's be clear. The
timelines are. It's tough for me because when I look at that and I just use Say as an example, if you try to chase the shiny thing, I think you potentially get wrecked. But like if you were, when NFTs were pumping, if you were looking at some of these DeFi tokens and playing the timeline right, do you see what I'm trying to get at? Like I think NFTs are kind of like bad right now on Say for a little bit. I can even show you these. These are prices that we didn't think we were going to see when Dob was at 800 and now it's at 348. So they've retraced like 60%, some of these. Let's see some other ones. I mean, Yaka's at 9, Saiyans are at 540, Colony's at 600. I mean, those are prices that we didn't think we were going to see. And I think now is the time. Like it's cliche, but look, DeFi tokens just ran. We'll probably see a move into NFTs once we see some altcoin rotations and stuff like that.
Not financial advice. I think Dobbs are very undervalued.
We'll talk off the stream. I own a ton of Dobbs, so I've been giving that a lot of thought. Because when you're as invested in it as I am, you kind of make sure you're kind of looking out across, being like, is Colony gonna run? Is Yaka gonna run? Is all of these different things before Dob does? Because Dob is that culture play, right? But there's positives and negatives to that. Why do you think Dobbs is gonna run or undervalued?
Because it's like one of the only legit PFPs there that actually looks cool, that has the culture. It's like, I understand what you're saying. It's less of a product play. It's more of a culture art play than the others. And yes, that's a hard thing to sustain. That's what they're going through right now, is like vibes only get you so far. And when numbers going down, the vibes are different. Vibes hit different. But I think that it doesn't take a lot for something that has such a strong foundation, that has so many people in it already, to pick back up.
That's an interesting. So I'll give you guys a look behind the scenes a little bit. All of the Discords that are pretty popular, right? Like the blue chip Discords, Dobbs has an interesting dynamic here. They have a DAO outside of their Discord. And I've been talking back and forth with the Nakeds, being like, you guys need to move into the Discord. Like, it's a very young community. The biggest supporters of the eco or the community should be in the Discord. That is very much the front door of your collection, of your what y'all are doing. You can't be in this other DAO over here where all the most staunch supporters are not in the regular Discord. I think it's not good. I think they could benefit from the most positive supporters being in the Discord.
I tend to agree with you. Like, obviously people can do whatever the fuck they want. That's the beauty of the space. But as you know, Q, part of the whole idea behind the Web3 network is to try and reduce that splintering of resources and attention and time, and aggregate a legitimate community platform where we work together to create something bigger and longer lasting. Because what everybody does is they want to have their own little fiefdom. Everybody wants to have their own little thing and go own it and be the king of their little world. But unfortunately, when you do that, you open up you make it easier for the big players to come in and steamroll everybody. You make it easier for you to just, basically disappear and not really matter. And like you're saying, it can create inter-community conflicts or difficulties when it's like, again, why are you splitting up the Dob community? That's the question. It's like, you can have that value and still do it within the community.
I'll tell you why, because of control.
That's what I mean. Having your own fiefdom. That's exactly it. You want to be the king of your own thing. People want to control it, but most people don't want to think together and long-term and collaboratively off the bat and see how you can create more value together that way. I hope, they figure that out together instead of continuing to try and own a piece of the community. Why not just grow the whole community together in a more collaborative way?
All right, we're ending the episode here in the next 5 minutes, and I that is a hard 5. We are going to blast through a couple different different topics, and we'll see where we go. But Wolf K saying Dobbs main Discord should utilize Paletify like NYC, and Watcher, DAO, and Dobbs can have their token gated section within the main. Yes, all yes. And so here's my plea almost. Ray, you need to make sure that you get those guys in there. That's all I'll say. Make sure you figure it out to get those guys in there, because it'll be a 10x increase in your Discord activity and all that stuff. This is going to hurt Gifted, so we're not going to spend too much time on it. We shilled this token at I think 90 cents. It's continuous. It's just at $3. That's all I'll say about that.
It doesn't hurt me.
Yeah.
This is
it's a meme at this point for me.
I think I was the first one that pointed out that Trump's assets are going to do well around the election, and I'm still not going to buy them, even though it's one of the most obvious calls.
I think it still does well. It's a 138 million market cap though, but I think it still does. It'll still do well.
It's one of the most obvious calls, and it's one of the many ways that I'm fading generational wealth in my life. And sometimes you're okay with it. And I'm
totally. It's a meme to me at this point. It's not.
No, I know, but I'm just saying it doesn't bother me because I've already accepted it for what it is.
All right, here's another thing that I want to bring up. Also, Pixie token that we've been having. Although I think 30% down. I'm down on my Pixie Token is doing some things, but Second World Games coming in here, calling all Pudgy Penguins and little Pudgies holders notifications on for a SWIO token. This is, I mean, the move from the mutant to the little Pudgies has been moi. Like it was kind of just something I like. I was just like, dude, I need to catch this hype. But the move from one mutant to the little Pudgies has been fantastic, and we'll see what this airdrop kind of gets out as well. I thought I saw another thing I wanted to bring up here.
Yeah, that was well done. Congratulations.
It's one of my ones that has paid off. Like again, not all of them have. The 404s up to this point have just been absolutely wrecked for the most part.
Do we think like 404s pick up, with more liquidity or interest coming back into the market? Do we think that they eventually do pick up, or do we think that this was kind of just like a weird, again, this is where it's like it either proves out to be just a short meta and a gimmick, or it's something that has legs that might just simmer and take a while, and then all of a sudden it like people really fuck with it,
My general take here is that it's tough when you're 70% down, right? I hate being in that scenario. If something like a Mysticals, which is only like 30% or 20% down, I think something like that is a marination. This is gonna, this narrative is gonna catch. It's gonna take a while to get into people's ears. It's gonna take a while to get on more liquidity and more interest around it, and then it'll fucking fly. But it's tough when you're sitting there 80% down and you're like, well, if it fucking, 5x's, I'm back even. Like that's a tough scenario to be in. But I do think 404s in that way will come back. It's just some of these like sweepers, for example, like I'm wrecked on sweepers. And you got to hope the team can do something. But, dude, I was sitting here having the same conversation about Base God. That Base God meme token, which Base is one that just completely got away from me, man. You know how long I've been talking about Base and how much of I wanted to be there. You know what I mean? I was fucking heavy.
You can't do everything, bro. Liquidity is limited,
It's true. Yeah. It's true, but I just... The NFT, the Mochi NFTs have popped off, the Base God NFTs, like... You can be right on the thesis and wrong on the execution. I will just say that.
We do it all the time. That's our specialty.
Yeah. So I think 404s have a place. We'll continue to see that, but yeah. Okay, we touched on Oni. There was something else, man. I just can't think of it. So maybe we close it out. I guess I did want to look a little bit at the current market caps or the current prices on the NFT side of things on Ethereum, right? So let's go by volume here.
Doodles,
so Pudgy's going back up.
Moonbirds, yeah, apparently Doodles and Moonbirds are getting a bid right now, which again, those were two of those like OG blue chips that were extremely undervalued. So I'm not surprised, that those are ones that you see run a little bit. But apparently a lot of people are picking up those super rare Doodles again.
That IP is just so fucking strong, man. And me and you both working through, creative process and how hard it is to have a name that fits the brand and all that stuff. Doodles is just, it's on so many fronts that it's hard to even quantify how dope that brand is. I know the art doesn't hit for some people. I know Marty McFly, you're about to come in here and say, this, I hate this pastel kind of looking art, all that stuff. But when you see it animated and the branding behind the name, it's just it's a 10 out of 10 from that perspective.
Yeah, I think Doodles is gonna cook for sure, because again they've got the animation studio. They've already been experimenting with like super high quality experiential stuff. Like they've done some of the highest quality experiential stuff in all of Web3. And again, you see the animation, like you said, the way that this IP is expressed and brought to life. And they're getting into physical items again. I don't. Yeah.
Here's what I'll tell you, dude. Moonbirds and Doodles, maybe it's not in their plans, but I want to broach this subject real quick. they would benefit from like a fucking Web3 degen, like as a big face of both of those collections. If you're talking about bringing value back to holders, I just think both of those collections, they don't know quite, they're almost like too highbrow. You know what I'm talking about? Like Pudgy Penguins, we've talked about it, does this fucking awesomely. Like they have somehow.
Don't forget, Q. Doodles isn't an NFT project anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'm fucking talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Moonbirds, the same thing. We had the Moonbirds team on the channel. They're awesome. This space doesn't like that a lot of times.
This space doesn't like awesome, smart, intelligent people. Come on,
they
guys.
don't like you bringing in the Disney studio stuff, bringing in all that stuff. You know what I'm talking about.
It doesn't move the needle.
It's too. The timelines are too long. The things that are talked about are not things that are interesting to those folks. It just is. Like if you like both Doodles and Moonbirds in that spot too, where it's like, holy shit, you guys have created such high quality shit. How do you turn that other knob? You gotta hire some fucking degenerate, dude.
You gotta fucking degen, bro. You gotta get some meme lords and some edge lords in your community. But again, like they literally chased out that contingent because they were so toxic, and that's the trade off with that, Q. Is that when you court,
but Pudgy's does it so well,
dude. That's what I was saying. That's to marry these two things, because what you're pointing out is that they've shifted towards. They've had their struggles, but they did a good job, better than most. But exactly what you're saying, Moonbirds and Doodles tried to make this shift into being legitimate Web 2 enterprises and brands, and they lost touch with the degen NFT culture. To be able to juggle both of these, have the accessibility and the like mainstream appeal of Web 2 and do that well, while still maintaining your roots in Web 3 and being appealing to Web 3 culture. Dude, if you can do both of these things, that's a super rare Pokemon. That's exactly what I said about Pudgy Penguins and about Luca. There's so few founders that have figured out how to balance this and bridge the two together. It's so hard.
Yeah. Arguably, Dapper has been the worst at it. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
Most
Dapper Labs has had fuck ups with NBA Top Shot, with CryptoKitties, with.
We should check in on Top Shot. Tomorrow, let's check in on Top Shot tomorrow.
I'm looking through this and trying to figure out another collection other than Pudgy's. It's tough to even say that out loud though, Gift, because it's almost like we're basing it on price. It's like, oh, Pudgy Penguins and Bored Apes, they figured it out. It's like no fucking shit.
Well, Q, the price of the NFTs is in many ways a reflection of the sentiment of Web3 culture.
Yeah.
So if Web3 culture is really fucking with you, your NFTs are going to be doing pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe punks. Maybe CryptoPunks are an example of just having figured out one side of it.
They're not really Web 2.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, they haven't
They
tried
don't care
that.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I mean, this is a great combo. Maybe we could have this tomorrow on NFT Live.
Orlando Newman coming here right at the end. Aloha, lads. What's up, OVOT? Shout out to you.
Nick Swervis, you can all rip my old pack. We're talking NBA Top Shot while Orlando is in the house. That is a absolute fucking throwback, man. He actually gifted me some Top Shots way back in the day. Let's see. Quasar saying, what about V Friends? I would say
tomorrow.
Let's do it tomorrow. All right, folks, we're out. Our Vibe Bar Tribe, thank you guys for tuning in. Gift was sick this entire episode. You didn't even tell because he's fucking professional at it. But I appreciate it. Gift, let's send this out.
I don't got anything to say other than y'all are fucking awesome. Thanks for hanging out with us. We got some big things coming. Stay tuned for announcements. Subscribe. Smash the like. Our Vibe Bar Tribe.